What's going on there, fellow YouTubers? Chris back with you guys with something that's really controversial. Basically just saying, did we go to the moon? Short answer, yes. There's a lot of controversial photos out there that claim, no, we did not. Which is it? Did we go or did we not? I believe we have. Now, let me explain why. Is there or are there fake photos of the moon? Absolutely. And we're going to show you one because this has been circling around. And of course, there's more than one of these, but you guys will see exactly what I'm talking about. And I want to prove to you why I don't believe they're all fake. And it's just some partially. Okay, let's jump right into this. I don't want to make this thing too long because we can get into a lot of these, we can get into a lot of details, but I'm just going to touch on a couple of them. Now, during the Cold War, and you can see it right here, Cold War, and you can see right here, Cold War leaders and events. One of the events was, you guessed it, the space race right here. Now, the space race, these guys are going back and forth. Now, it's basically a tit-for-tat thing, like who was the first man out in space, which was Yuri Gagarin, I believe his name was, in 1961. And, of course, people will argue the point and say, no, he was not the first one. He was in orbit. Yes, he was. Now, the other guy who attempted before him was Vladimir, and I got it written down, Ilyushin, or something like that. My apologies if I'm butchering his last name. But he went to the actual, right into the edge of orbit, and then, of course, the craft fell backwards, and it crash landed, and, of course, he did survive it. So it's this back and forth thing. Now, I also showed you guys in a video, and you can see it right here, where I said, missions to Mars, did you know? And you can check it out right here at the top of the screen, and you can click on that and go to it and check it out yourself. And they've been doing this. Look at the dates on this, 1960. But what does it mean? Okay? What does it mean? What were they doing? So before the Apollo missions, which is this right here, and this was in 1972, they were already going to the moon unmanned, keep in mind, unmanned, to the moon and Mars. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of failed attempts, and then they finally, of course, I think it was the United States that finally got there first. But again, check that link out I gave you earlier, and it goes into a whole lot more of this, so I won't tie it up too much with that. And of course, it says astronaut Eugene A. Cernan stands near an overhanging rock during the third Apollo 17 lunar surface extravehicular activity, or the EVA, at the Taurus Littrow landing site. Now, of course, it says scientist astronaut Harrison H. Smith took this photograph. Okay, so they're looking for rocks and stuff like that. Bogus. I think that's crap. But this is what people are really on the all jumpy about and everything else. They're saying, look at his visor, look at his visor. Okay, let's have a look. And of course, if you look at this thing, what does it look like? By all means, it looks like a guy standing there. You can see him. He looks like he's in one of those, like one of those down vest type things. He's just standing there looking at it. But this is what I don't get. People are not very observant. They jump the gun quickly. Now, do I believe this is a fake photo? Yes. And you're going to go, Chris, well, why the hell would you believe anything NASA says? I'll get into that. Now, what they didn't notice, if you're going to look at just one thing, study the whole picture or the whole scene within the actual visor. What do we have? Looks like right here on the right-hand side, it looks like a piece of plywood, like 3/4 plywood right here. And what looks like a fake rock that's been put up against it. And it looks like it has some kind of framing or something like that, like almost like steel ribbing, so they can add to this. And then if you look at the very corner, if you were this guy standing here, if that is in fact a guy, which it really does look like a guy, if you're looking here with a camera, all right, right here you get this thin piece that was added on, and it looks like it's paper thin. It looks like it's cardboard, guys. So do I believe this photo is fake? Yes. Okay. But again, during the Cold War, they were trying to see, listen, if you can get to the moon or Mars and be the first one, who's far more superior? Who's the big shot on the playground? That's what it comes out to, and then that's what it's always been. And these guys have been going back and forth like this for years, man. So, okay. But here's my question. Most people are going to go, well, why would you believe a thing NASA says? Clearly if you say these are fake. I believe that this was all a front. They had a secret space program. I mean, here you go. You can look up Werner von Braun, right? Check him out. And what does it say right here? Rocket engineer, NASA chief architect of the Saturn V rocket of the Apollo manned lunar missions engineering program manager. Saturn V. We're still using the same rocket today. This is back in the 60s, man. So you're telling me that this rocket is, I mean, don't get me wrong, there's some deviances, you know, some different ones along the same lines of that rocket. You're telling me out of all of the technological advancements we've made since the 60s, that's the best they can do in rocketry? Come on, guys. You know, I think I told you guys this years ago, well, a couple years back. I've got a friend of mine, her son works for an aerospace agency which works hand in hand with NASA. And I asked him one time, Skyping him, hey, I heard there's new engines being designed and stuff like that. I heard plasma or ion. Which one are you thinking? He just winked his eye and just said, just look into ion. That's all he said to me. And I was like, okay. And of course, I was telling him my findings, and he just kind of found it kind of weird. Now, here's a guy that uses a laptop from the government, from that space agency, and it's retinal. It just scans your eyes. And, of course, you could have put a handprint on the screen, too. So, I mean, this is like top secret stuff. This is stuff that you just can't, you know, you don't just walk into a store or just a simple laptop. You just put, whatever. You just put a simple password and you're on it. That's not the way this works. And he just basically, like I said, he winked his eye and said, look into ion propulsion. So, okay, so, you know, these guys have come a long way. They've been doing it since the 60s. You can't tell me that they haven't gone further than this. But now here's the question. This is what I wanted to ask. Let's look back at his visor again. Knowing that the public is going to see this. Now, think about this a minute. Slowly think about this. Why do you think they'd leave that picture there? Think about that. Let that sink in. Me personally, I believe it to discredit themselves. Now, you might say, well, Chris, that's retarded. Because back then, they needed people's money. If you believe that, you're a fool. Let me tell you why. Even up to this day and age, back in, I think it was 2001, there was like... what the hell was it? $4 billion that was missing? It was missing from the country. They were trying to figure out where it went. You know, this money just disappeared. This is the reason why the deficit climbed so high and all this other crap. Back then, they just take the money too, man. Nobody knew. Nobody was none the wiser. Who the hell, people could just keep pumping out money. What's the big deal, right? Just keep manufacturing money. If they put this picture up there, the first thing you think of is fake. Why would I believe anything NASA says? And that's exactly what they want you to think. It's fake. They haven't gone out in space. We're nothing but crap. That's what they want you to believe. Why else would they leave a photo like this knowing that you and I are going to look at this photo? Think about that a minute. And it just boggles the mind because you're going, yeah, why the hell would they do that? They know people are not stupid. These photos were out in public. They were given to the public. So why leave this there? There's a reason for it. Why else would you do that? Because this way, again, so they just go, people would just go, listen, I know I've seen it in the visors. It's nothing but crap. This is just garbage. I don't believe a thing NASA says. And with these photos, I would totally, wholeheartedly agree with you guys. Why do I believe that they have gone? Well, let me make another point here, too. If you look at this right here, and this is another photo, and I'm going to show you that, too. I think it's right here. This one here, if you look on the I know a lot of you guys are familiar with this particular photo. On the very right-hand side, I'm going to show you this better in a moment. It's got, this is Shorty Crater. Now, you can see right here, Apollo 17 lunar module pilot Harrison Smith is at the spot where he discovered, and of course it shows, I think it was like the reddish soil. Now, people have said, and I've seen this in the forums, and anybody who's been looking at these knows for a fact what I'm going to say is true. You can see this mound, or this mountain, call it what you will, because it's pretty big compared to him, right? And if you got this other smaller one, or it's off in the distance, one of the two, and people have said, hey, listen, I've seen these same two bloody mountains in several different scenes. In other words, the foreground, the lunar surface is totally different, but yet these were still there. Well, two possibilities. One, he's just been in a different area around them. And, of course, they're always in the photo. But it showed it, I think he was way over to the right-hand side, and you can still see these things. Okay. Or they're templates. Now, you might say, what the hell do you mean by templates? Well, it's no different from what they've been doing here. This is supposed to be a part of Mount Sharp. Now, since this rover's been here, now you can go, I think it's Sol 14 and I think 173. It shows this mountain in there, and it doesn't look it's got any closer. Keep in mind, you're talking Sol 14, so it's a 14th day, or Martian day. It was only supposed to, let's suppose this is its landing site. It's not, but let's suppose this is the landing site. It was supposed to drive all the way to right here to the mountain, and then run alongside it horizontally, or just right along the base, and then go up into the mountain. It's supposed to be 10 miles total. Okay? But yet this thing is always in the same area. And what I mean by that even at this 173 and even now, sometimes it doesn't even look any closer than it was 14 and South 14. I believe they're templates. I believe they're dropping these things right in where there's larger items and they don't want you to see it. And I don't believe this is any different when you look at this photo here. It's the same thing. This would explain why people go, well, I've seen this in several, the same exact two mountains, the smaller one and the one on the left here, the larger one. It's in many photos. Why? Again, two possibilities, of course. It might have been just in different areas in this lunar area. It could have been to the left or to the right, and they're still in it. So, my point is, what do we have here? Well, let me jump into Photoshop, because I want to let you guys see this, if I can find it. Let me see, because that's not the one I'm looking for. Let me see. Okay, so, you got a glimpse of that, didn't you? Okay, so I just cut it off right here, because you can see where it was. This is Shorty Crater, and you can see where it's reddish. And I want to prove this because I want you guys to see this. All nice and red and grayish and all the reds and stuff like that. And then you go over here, and of course you got to... Why do you suppose from here, watch where my little cursor is, from here all the way over here, even down in this section here, all the way over here, and all in the background looks without detail? Why do you suppose that is? That's just one small reason why I believe it is actually the moon. And you're going to go, well, what do you mean? Well, because if it was just a moon photo, meaning in a studio, then why block out or, take any of this out of the photo? And you might go, well, what are you talking about? Especially for the newcomers. Let me show you why I'm saying that. You see this platform? It looks like a square or rectangular platform right here. Goes down, goes across, and goes over here. Okay? What most people don't look at is what's missing. Now, I've told you guys that when you look at these, if they were to take out any kind of contrast or black out of the photo, what does it do? You can't see outlines of objects. You can't see individuality of objects. Therefore, they're almost invisible to the eye, right? If you look right here, there's something on that platform. Right there. Right on that platform. See, it goes like this, goes across, and you can see just a fine line going like this. There's something sitting there, but there's much more. There's much more. See this crap that they've taken out? Look at it. Right here. Here's another perfect example. Blur. See it right there? Spot blurring. But yeah, you can see a little bit of detail. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm zoomed in, so you're going to see a little bit of, pixelation. It's not going to be as clear. Totally get it. But why is it that you can see a little bit of detail here, but this is completely taken out? Up here has been completely taken out. All over here has been taken out. It's a joke, man. So, again, have they been there or not? Yes, absolutely. Let me jump back into this. Now, I'm going to show you, watch this. There's much more near this astronaut as well as the buggy. Now, this is kind of a piss-poor picture. That's not what I'm trying to show you. Let's jump over to 9. And you can start to see this thing is actually there. Watch this. See it? It's there in the photo. Here's the platform thing I showed you guys. Right here. See it? And you've got something there that has no detail to it. Why? Because there's no black lines. There's no dark contrasting to it. This is the reason why it looks almost invisible. But you can see it right here. Now, by doing this and bringing back the photo, check this out. Let's move it back. There's so much more in this photo. This astronaut is not looking at rocks. Nor is he just sitting there, let's take a little bit of, I found some soil that's red. You may have, but that's not what you were there for. There's so much in this photo right here, it's bizarre. Check this out. It's completely, they try to take all this information out of there, but if you go through it and bring it out, you'll see it. Check this out. Now, let me move this back down here. Now, let's go back in a little bit. Check this out. You got this, what looks like this rectangular piece. This is cut out right here with this little, it looks like a point or something sticking out of it, as well as this one here. It looks like a square with a round piece and something in the middle. But there's two separate ones. There's 1, 2, there's something right there. It's hard to pull out of there, guys. This was not meant to be seen. And of course, you've got this. Now keep your eye on that, because I'm going to jockey back and forth. Look at the lines. Especially this right here. Look at this. It looks like a ring or some kind of weird piece to this. Now, I'm going to go back and forth. Now, just check it out. The lines are there. All I did was darken it just to bring it out. That's all I did. And it brings depth and height to the photo. This is what I'm getting at. This stuff is being hidden right in front of your eyes. Now, let me back out. Now I'm going to color this. I'm just going to jump. I'm not going to take a bunch of these steps. Now, check it out. Now, I'm going to go to, I think it was this one here. Or was it this one? This one's got a little less color to it, so it's not a distorter. But check this stuff out. There's whatever this stuff is, it's actually there next to this astronaut. Now, a lot of this has been completely screwed up, and you can't get any information out of this. But you can see clearly, well, not so clearly, because it wasn't meant to be seen, period, right? That there's stuff here. There's actually stuff in this picture. Look at this. There was something else that was sticking out of the ground here, and I can't find it now, but it doesn't matter. I'm more interested in what's in the background. The background has always been the money shot. They've been doing this faults right here, these mountains and stuff for the longest time, guys. This is not new. This has always been like this. They've done this they've been doing it in here, and they've been doing it on the Martian photos. It's no different. So yes, they have been to the moon. Whether you want to believe that, that's your prerogative. I'm telling you, from what I'm seeing in these photos, they've definitely been there. Why would you try to doctrine up a photo and hide what's in it if it's right here in the studio? That makes no sense, does it? So that's what I'm saying. I mean, don't get me wrong. You guys make up your own minds. I mean, if you believe we didn't, then, there's no way I'm going to convince you of that. That's fine. But to stop and say, no, they didn't, and not really fully analyze the photos, then that's on you. I mean, because I'm telling you right now, they absolutely have. And again, the reason for that other photo, this one here, not that one, but this one, the reason for this one here is to totally discredit themselves. Or, well, it's to discredit themselves, and the average person would say, yes, it's fake. They've never been to space. They've never been to the moon. And that's exactly what they did. They duped the public into that way. I mean, it's like a reverse psychology thing. Now, like I said, whether you want to believe that, that's totally your decision. I'm just telling you, there's no reason in the world why NASA should make that public. If they're trying to hide it, you're not going to tell me that the smartest people working for NASA is just going to go, just overlook that. It's not a big deal. The public's too stupid. They wouldn't even recognize that. Come on, man. People have been out there scrutinizing these photos, and even now more so, because we got a lot better computers. We can bring this stuff up within seconds. And, a lot like back in the old day, we had dial-up. It was like freaking 10 minutes just to download this photo, to load it. So anyway, guys, give me your take on it. What do you think? Because I'm going to tell you what, when I look at this and then look at this photo here, clearly they're hiding something in these photos. And I can tell just by looking at it they are. And like I said, there's separate things. It's on this platform, and there's something else right here. You can see this right here. There's other stuff. Listen, look at the size of this stuff. If this is in fact there, and it's actually structures of some kind of whatever, look at the size of these things. Here's the astronaut right here. You can see him right there. He's from here to here. And you would have, these things would have to be gigantic. And just by seeing that, I'm just going, wow, you got to be kidding me. But that's what they're doing, guys. Let me see. Well, messed that up a little bit. Right here. And like I said, when you stop bringing this out, now, of course, this wasn't a finished product, but you can see this stuff is there. They're doing this for a reason. But anyway, guys, give me your take on it. What do you think is really going on? When you stop and really get into these photos, there's so much more. I mean, again, look at the size of this guy. He's like right from here to here, and the lunar buggy. Look at the size of these things that this guy's investigating, and I can guarantee all of this, and in fact, I've done this photo before. This guy is surrounded with stuff. He had to probably walk through it all just to get to different parts of it. They literally were looking at technology on the moon. Again, I'm not going to convince anybody who believes we haven't. That's your decision. But ask yourself again this question before I let you guys go. Check this out. Why would all of this have detail all around here? And I'm going to show you the original one, of course. This way here, you guys can see it for yourselves. Here, and this is, I'll give you the links to this. You guys can see it up here at the top. Why would they do that? Why would they have so much detail here? Wow, it looks great. These wannabe mountains look like total shit. Look at this. What is that? Let me guess. Lava traveling sideways? I mean, I already know what the hell to even make of that. Whoops, back up a little bit. And we're at 250%. Again, look at all of the detail here on the left. That looks nice. Wouldn't argue. Definitely rocks, craters, no doubt in my mind. Here, same thing. Shorty crater. You can even jump into that and check that out. I mean, there's some kind of bizarre shapes in there, but let's call them all rocks. I don't care. That's not even my main concern. Like I said, when you look at this and you've got all of this detail on the left and the Shorty crater, and then all, like I said, from here over, all over here, and down here included, up here, and all the way in the back is completely almost without detail at all. Look at it. Detail to the left, complete crap on the right. Why do you suppose that is? Why do you suppose this has been blurred out, this white line right here of garbage? Because this is here. This stuff is actually sitting in the background and all around him, and this is what he's actually there to see. That's what he's actually there. I'm going to move way in for you guys to see this, because I know you guys are on a lot of these. Let me just take out some of this. There's another thing that looks like it's on some kind of platform. What that is, couldn't tell you. But I can promise you, it's not ours. Whatever it may be, it's not ours. And I think this is just a line here. I'm going to just go back here for a second, because right here, that's a line that they drew in themselves. So I think whatever's on the top is part of this on the bottom. In other words, watch here. See this right here on the bottom? It's got this curvature right here. And then you got what looks like something square, something else laying on the lunar surface. I think this is all part of this on the bottom. It's all one piece, but because they made that white line across the whole darn photo, it looks like it's separate. But I'm here to tell you guys, this is absolutely true. This stuff is here. Now, again, I'm not going to here to convince anybody. I'm just trying to tell you what I believe. My opinion is, did we go to the moon or not? And I say, you know, an overwhelming yes. Now, like I said, you guys tell me what you think. Give me your comments down below. Don't forget to watch the other video, because it talks about the other missions, or how many missions have been to the moon as well as Mars. And, you know, I apologize for going so fast with this, guys. I'm just trying to get more information in a less video. I got people talking, oh, man, you talk too fast, blah, blah, blah. Just trying to get as much information in this video as possible without taking up a whole lot of time. So, hope you guys understand. With that, I'm going to let you guys go. You have yourself a good one, and I'll see you in the next video.